Hello and good morning for the third of our monthly webinar on KB+. Our aim is to have a webinar on the last Wednesday of each month and each session looking at a different area in KB+ in a little more detail. This week the webinar has been pre-recorded as I'm currently away. Today's webinar is all about subscriptions, showing you how we can add a subscription, track and manage, and we hope it will be a useful supplement to our user guides and one-day workshops, etc. Details of our user guide and our workshops will be available at the end of the presentation. So, just to start with, for anybody new to KB+, KB+ is a shared service and its aim is to allow institutions to manage eResources subscriptions and licenses. Central to KB+, we have a knowledge base, and this provides access to lists of titles within packages, and this is openly shared with the community. And we also have a knowledge base, we also have licenses in our knowledge base. The priority in populating this knowledge base has primarily been GIST collection title list. However, we have been adding lots of other publishers, and this is based on what institutions have told us they'd like to see in KB+ to help them manage their subscriptions. So if there's content that you would like to see in KB+, please do contact us. There'll be contact details at the end, but if you use the green support button within KB+, that you can send comments that way too. So, as I said, today I'm going to talk about subscriptions. Now, you can use KB+ to record any type of subscription to an e-resource. So it could be a subscription to a journal package like Project Muse, or even to an abstract or an index database. And when you record a subscription in KB+, what you do is you can add basic information such as the name of the subscription, a start and end date to the subscription. You can include a date for renewals. You can also attach documents to this subscription. So you could scan in a document with the order form or an invoice and attach that. And there's also notes that you can add to the subscription. And these notes can be about the subscription if somebody looks at the subscription, or they can be about information relating to what you need to do with the subscription. Now, for subscriptions to journal packages, for example, where we have the title list in KB+, you can also then attach this to the subscription. And you can also attach a license to a subscription in KB+. What we currently don't have right at this moment is area to record financial information. However, this is currently being tested at the moment, so we're hoping it'll be available shortly. And so this will be an area where you can then record the cost of a subscription. And we're also looking at how we can combine that with the kind of just usage stats to give you cost per use information too. So, when thinking about subscriptions, what you can therefore think about is you can use KB+ to record all your eResource subscriptions, including large collections, single titles, ANI databases. And recording them in KB+ provides you with a central record of your subscriptions. And for some of those subscriptions, where appropriate, what you'd also have is information which includes like the titles that make up that subscription. We also access the just stats where appropriate for those titles. You can also record your core information for these titles within the subscription, and then you can also link it to a license, and by linking to a license you can then also see look to see what the license permits for those titles. So, starting here from the GIST collection dashboards, I'm just going to click on subscriptions just to go straight to our subscription page. So as you can see here, this is subscriptions we've created for GIST collection. So in terms of having a central record, here you have a list of all those subscriptions. Our subscription page has a date filter on it, so it is currently showing only valid subscriptions for today's date. To see everything, you just need to clear that. And click search, and you'd see all the subscriptions. And once you've got the subscriptions in here, you can also search across them by text. And so I'm going to search for a subscription to Project Muse. And I scroll down the page, I've got my subscription here. And what we also have on this page is, I've got a link to my subscription there. Underneath it, it tells me the title list that I've linked to. So in this case, we can see I've got a Project Muse subscription. I've got a title list for the premium collection, because that's the collection that this subscription is for. And we've also got a link to the license for this subscription. So let's go and have a look at a basic subscription in KB Plus. So if I click on here, here we are. Here we have my subscription page, Project Muse. The first page of the subscription shows the current entitlements. So where your subscription does have titles attached to it, that will be on the first page. As we can see, the first one, I've got a to-do up at the top of here. Now, when you create a subscription in KB Plus, and if you link to a package, the data managers, depending on what type of package it is, data managers do monitor these packages and make updates. So especially for multi-year deals, for example, we update those packages across the years that the deal is valid for. So something like Project Muse, which I think is a 2015 to 2017 deal. And what we do is when we hear of new titles being added to the package, we add them onto the title list. If there's any coverage amendments to make, so for example, I know Project Muse sometimes extends some of their archive coverage, and so that we keep an eye on that. And the idea really is that, as with other knowledge bases, we keep that information up to date, so it saves you having to kind of look for that information and do that work yourselves. So here we've got a to-do notification which is telling me that something is changed, and so I've got the option to accept or reject. But if I scroll down, you can see I've got a list of titles associated with this subscription, 644 listed here. And this subscription is valid for my account, so this is a list of titles for my account, and I got the option here to edit, and I can change the dates, and I can change the core status, etc. We do have a couple of webinars on how to edit your core status available on the KB Plus website, so I'd take a look at those for more detail on how that can be done. So here we are on this subscription, and we've seen all the titles associated with it, the current entitlements, and now I'm going to click on the Details tab. And this is the area that I mentioned before in terms of this is a place where you can add documents, you can add notes. Here we've got the license that we've linked to. If I scroll down, you can see I've entered a renewal date for myself. And we've also got this option of child. Now, within KB Plus, whenever we make changes to things within the knowledge base, in order to alert you about these changes, we use the to-do notifications. In some instances, you might decide that you would be happy not to be notified about every single change we make. So Project Muse is a good example in the sense that if you have a subscription to Project Muse, there is generally no kind of local customization to this. So if you have a subscription to the premium collection in Project Muse, you have all the titles within the premium collection just like any other institution. So all the institutions will all have the same list for the premium collection. If you make this subscription child subscription, it would mean that whenever the data managers update the list, you will just have the changes immediately added to your list, and you won't see this kind of notification anymore. And so that's something to consider thinking about it in terms of if you do use KB Plus to manage your subscription and you don't want to spend, and you want to reduce the amount of notifications you're getting about things, if you're happy to trust the data managers to keep that list up to date, then you can make this child, and then you won't be faced with these, and you won't have to accept and reject change notifications every time you look at your whenever you look at your subscription and the changes have been made. Okay, so that is kind of the basic information that you get with a subscription. So your current entitlements and then the details of that. The other tabs, well, I'll touch on link package and add entitlements when we create a new subscription, which I'll do shortly. The next one is renewals. and we'll be doing another webinar, so I'll focus on renewals on that time, at that point. We also have this other tab called Previous and Expected, and this is really useful in terms of getting an overall picture of the title of a title list. And these tabs will show you any titles that have left the collection and titles which are due to come into the collection. Now for something like Project Muse, we don't really have any previous, because if a journal no longer leaves Project Muse, you still retain the archival access, so you won't get any current access, but you retain the archival access. But we do have some that are expected. So if I click on expected, you can see we've got a list of titles that when the deal was agreed, there was a list of titles that were agreed for this year for the premium collection, including these titles. However, the content's still not on the platform, so they're kind of expected. Once the content is put on the platform, I'll be notified and I'll change the status of these, and these will then move straight into the current entitlements once available. In terms of the other ones, if you've attached documents, that's where you would see your documents there. If you see notes there, and then you can also see a history of what changes have been made to this subscription. So that's viewing a subscription within KB Plus. So to add a subscription, so if I go back to here, adding a subscription is very straightforward. You just click on Add New Subscription, type in your subscription name, and this time I'm going to add the JSTOR collection. Ignore the subscription identifier. The default is a calendar year, but all you need to do if you need to change it is just click in the box. You can manually overwrite that and add a new date, or click on this icon, which is a calendar icon, and then you can choose the date. I'm going to leave the default in this instance. Click Create, and there I've created myself a subscription. So if it was for an abstract index database, I might want to leave it like that. I might then go into details, and there might be, I want to add a document, add a few notes, etc. Link to a license if I had it. And the way you link to the license, you just click on there and select. You do need to have the license already added to within your account before you can add it to a subscription. So I'm going to add the JSTOR license as I have it. Now what I need here is I need the titles for JSTOR Ecology, because I know that with this subscription I have a whole host of titles associated with it, and the easy way to do that is click on Link Package. Search for the package that I'm interested in. I'm going to pick the Ecology and Botany one, and I'm going to go for the most recent one, so I'm going to go for the one that leads up to 2016. So we do have older packages, but we always recommend, if you're adding a new subscription, please make sure you pick the most recent title list, because that will have the most up-to-date information in there. So I'm going to go for that one, and I have two options. I can link with entitlements or without. So I'm going to link with, because I know this package I have access to all the titles within this title list. No entitlements is useful for occasions where you're creating a subscription and you know you only have access to a handful of titles within it rather than the whole set, and so you can click no entitlements, and that adds all the titles on a separate tab, and then you just go into there and pick out the ones that you want to create for your subscription. So again, if you want to use KB Plus to record some of your kind of smaller bundles or even just single title subscriptions, you could use some of our master lists, which we have for a number of publishers. We put in what we call a master list and add titles that they associated with that publisher, and you can use one of those to create kind of like your single title subscription. In this case, I'm going to link with entitlements. I'm going to say OK, and now I have my subscription, and with the subscription I've got all the titles associated with the subscription, and again if I wanted to edit them I can do there, and that's my subscription created. So I have now a subscription, I have the titles associated with the subscription, and I've linked it to a license. And it's as simple as that. Obviously, if you do decide to use KB Plus to record your subscriptions, and you'd like some help in adding them, please do contact us. If you've got subscription information in a structured format, like in an Excel spreadsheet, we can use that to help populate it all for you, so it saves you having to add it manually. If you're new to KB Plus and you open up your account and you already see subscription listed, it's because we add all Gist collection ones automatically for you, and on a monthly basis we get a file of everything that's been ordered, and so we update it during the year as well. So we will be adding your Gist collection ones for you, but any other ones that you wish to add, then please do get in touch and we can see if we can help you get that information in there. Once you've also created a subscription in KB Plus, I should say that you can export this information, and we've got various exports available. And so if you want to reuse this information in other systems or provide management information, it's available for you there. And I think in terms of a quick overview of subscriptions, I'm going to pause here. And just to recap, so in terms of why you might want to look at recording subscriptions in KB Plus, I think one of the reasons is that it can save time, especially in the sense that, as with other knowledge bases, we're keeping these package lists up to date, so you don't have to spend your time updating these title lists, checking which titles have transferred out of packages, which have joined packages, what are new to packages. All of this, we're doing for you. And so when you create a subscription and you link it to a title list, that title list has been updated by us. We have some integration with JUSP, so when you create a subscription and you link it to a package, if that's a package where there's just statistics available, then you can click on a title from your subscription list, and you'll be able to see the JR1 stats available on KB Plus. Once you create a subscription in KB Plus, you can also obviously use that subscription to mark titles as core, and this information is then shared back with JUSP, so you can run core reports there if you'd like. You can also, within KB Plus, once you create a subscription, you can also then link it to a license, and that can be useful in the sense that if you view the titles webinar I did 2 months ago, is you can then click on a title and actually see a little table to see what the license permits for that title if it has been linked to a subscription. And the other advantage is, which I covered in last month's webinar on licenses, is you can also run an export based on the properties of a license. So for example, if you're interested to know which of your titles allow walk-in access, so if you, at the title level, you can run a report from the licenses page which show all the licenses which allow walk-in access, and if you've linked it to a subscription, it will list all those titles for you too. As I mentioned right at the start, our next step is adding financial information, and the aim really there hopefully is that at that point we'll have got everything that institutions look for when they're recording their subscriptions, so you'll have the opportunity to have a subscription with the titles added to it, linked to a license, and also cost information. So hopefully with this recording I've shown how you can record subscriptions easily in KB Plus, and how by combining that subscription with other elements of KB Plus, such as our package list and our licenses, you've got a really good valuable source of information which can help you answer simple queries, provide management information, and so on. For further information, we have our free one-day workshops. They're practical workshops, so you get hands-on exercise in KB Plus and a chance to meet other people. So go to the website and you can sign up there. And next month we're going to look at package comparison, and we'll send out details via the mailing list as per usual. And then lastly, we have our email address and our KB Plus website. We've got lots of information about KB Plus there. Thank you very much, and please get in touch if you have questions.